those and other questions as we get up with you starting right now on a Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Greeny with you this week on ESPN2, and we've got lots of football news to get into today. We have plenty of the right people to get into it with. Jeff Darlington is here. Dominique is here. And from the Beast's Castle this morning, Rob Ninkovich is at Disney World. We'll get to them and a whole lot more. But we begin with the game of the night. In Hotlanta, Game 3, Bucks-Hawks tied at 1, and it's Trae Young trying to make the best use of home court advantage and under 6 to go in the first, and he was feeling it. Hawks already up a dozen, and then it's Young. Oh, you can't give him that much time to shoot because, not only will he knock it down, but he'll hit you with the shimmy. 8 minutes to go in the second now. Bucks are down by 7. Gallinari, no. Going the other way. Giannis, Euro step, and he throws it down. Bucks down by 5. Just over 3 to play in the half. The Hawks lead is 4. How about that for range? Trae Young knocking it down. Tied at 56, headed to the half. Just over 3 to play now in the third. Milwaukee is down by 5, but here comes Giannis, and what are we doing? All right, we're covered. We're behind the back. We're all alone, so we'll knock down the 3. He was 1 of 2 from 3. Bucks down by 2. Under a minute to play in the third. This is the moment that could change everything. Watch the foot of Trae Young as he steps on the foot of the official, Sean Wright. Twists the ankle. Clearly not comfortable and not the same thereafter. He'd go to the locker room. He would come back, but he said he didn't have that burst, and it made an obvious difference. So the Hawks are down 1, 6 minutes to play. Young, he can still do that. Young had 35. Hawks take the lead by a deuce. Next Milwaukee possession. The fourth quarter belonged to Chris Middleton. Inside, outside, didn't matter. Knocking it down. Ties it at 98. Next possession. Middleton from 3. Chris Middleton outscored Atlanta by himself in the fourth quarter. 20 points in the fourth. 38 for the game. Final minute. Looking for the dagger. Middleton. Yes! Milwaukee with the win it needs to steal back home court advantage. 113-102 the final. They take a 2-1 series lead. Chris, what a night.
I think once I realized I hit 2 in a row, just told myself to keep trying to find a shot to get up, knowing that I was going to have a good chance of getting in. That's how I was thinking at that time.
It's hurting. It's frustrating. Came back in, it was just kind of sore, and I made me mad. I couldn't really go as fast as I wanted to, and then when I did, it hurt. So got to get treatment, and hopefully it feels better for next game.
Well, to that point, when he comes back in the game, there's 8:44 on the clock, and the Hawks had a 5-point lead, but he was clearly hurt, and Chris Middleton was just getting started. The Bucks outscored the Hawks 25-9 to end the game from that moment forward, hitting 10 of their 12 shots. And again, so much of that was about Chris Middleton, and that is where the conversation begins today. Seth Greenberg, my Uncle Seth, no relation, and PJ Carlissimo gets up early with us here today. And PJ, our buddy Big Perk, he tweeted again, Chris Middleton is Batman and Giannis is Robin. And as we look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, certainly last night in the fourth quarter, that was the case. What was the difference last night?
Chris Middleton was the difference, Greeny. You talked about it wasn't just the dagger. He just simply took the game over, and he did most of his damage in the fourth quarter. Yeah, he had big numbers, but 20 in the fourth quarter, and the way he shot the ball. They're down 7. Everybody kind of forgot this. The game gets away a little bit, but he shot the 3 very well. He was 4 for 6 from downtown in the fourth quarter alone. This is great passing. Connaughton drives man down. If Mark Jackson was here, he'd say man down. They move it. Connaughton to Tucker to guess who? He's on fire. Let's get him the ball. He'll get us home. And he was Batman. There's no question about that. If you're from Boston or L.A., you may have seen this in an earlier light. How about the running hook shot? Chris Middleton finishes it right there. 3 was the closest they got right there the rest of the way. He's been very, very good in the playoffs, but he's getting better the deeper it goes. What he did against Brooklyn and what he's doing now and what he hopefully is going to do for Pop this summer in Tokyo.
Yeah, but between now and then, he's got 6 more games he would like to win and bring an NBA championship with him to Japan. Seth, how about it? How about Middleton, and how about the performance of Giannis?
Giannis was terrific. Giannis took that 3. He made 1. He missed 1. But you almost have to give him that opportunity to shoot it because he does everything else. He rebounds the ball. He defends. He never takes a play off, and he attacks. But, you look at Giannis, all right, he shot the 1 air ball, but he came back and made the other. I think as a coach, especially in the NBA, you got to say, you know what, Giannis, be selective. Don't shoot too many of them. We're going to allow you to do that because you do everything else that we ask of you. This game was won by Middleton. It was won by the small lineup of the Bucks. If you think about that small lineup, they were plus 18. When Giannis is at 5, he's a problem. When Connaughton and Portis are on the floor, they've got versatility offensively. They've got versatility defensively. And the one thing they did do defensively is they took the assist away from Trae Young. Think about this now. The ability to switch and to be able to, with that small lineup, to be up on screens. All right, Trae only has 4 assists. Yeah, he's got the floater, but they took away the lob. That small lineup with Middleton was the difference in this game.
The other thing that you could point out might have been the difference in this game was 1 foot. And that foot belonged to the official. And Trae Young stepped on it last night. And so let's get to that, PJ. If they're going to win Game 4, if the Hawks are going to win Game 4 and make this into the series we would all like it to be, what does Trae Young have to be for this team? Give me a rough idea of the stat line that we will need from Trae Young tomorrow night for them to win Game 4.
I hate to say it, Greeny, he's got to go for 30. Seth makes a great point. He's got to get his assist total up because he needs help. Bogdanovich is not healthy either. They got a bunch of people banged up. John Collins has played really, really well. Gallinari has been excellent. Lou Williams has got to give him numbers, but Trae's got to go for at least 30, and he's got to get those assists. And I don't see how he does it unless he's close to 100%, Greeny. And as you know, in the conference finals, it's every other day. I don't know that he can get 100% or close to that in 2 days.
Well, Seth, I mean, it's gotten to be difficult to watch now with everybody getting hurt constantly. We talked about the compressed schedule. In this case, he stepped on the foot of the referee, so that obviously doesn't have anything to do with fatigue or anything else. But I guess I want to ask you, to what degree do you feel like Milwaukee now has control of this Eastern Conference final? Seth?
I think they do have control of the Eastern Conference final because there's a couple of things, though. It's their ability to go small. It's obviously Giannis playing downhill. And you get a game like that from Middleton, all of a sudden now, he struggled the 2 games prior to that. Now, all of a sudden, he sees a bigger basket. But I think they found a solution. And you can talk about Young's ankle, but I do think that coach found a solution in terms of dealing with that flat ball screen. Now with the small lineup, you can switch it. All right, you can stay up on it. You can do different things, deny him the basketball back. That small lineup, it's plus 18. That's real. That's a real number. When that small lineup wasn't on the court, they were minus 13. That small lineup is a difference maker.
All right, guys, sit tight. We'll have much more from both of you as we continue this morning looking back.
So just gotta get treatment and hopefully it feels better for next game.
So, Jay, watching this game, it certainly changed for Atlanta because their offense just didn't look the same when Trae was out. Middleton got hot. Now, I get it. Atlanta got some looks. It seemed like they just couldn't knock down shots.
It was different, B, though.
Yeah.
It was so different. Who would have thought the ref decided the game? And typically when you hear that, you think they made bad calls. But his positioning on the floor wasn't wrong, but damn, like this is how the series is going to be defined. I mean, Trae had 32 points when this happened. He finished the game with 35, so he made 1 3. He had great bursts north to south. But, like, this is what it comes down to. Like, we've had a playoffs where I just want people healthy. That's all I want this playoffs. Like, we've had it. Jamal Murray didn't play. Anthony Davis had issues. Joel Embiid had some issues. I mean, Dante Vincenzo's out. We've had so many players out. All I want to do is have one healthy playoff series where the teams just both stay complete. And what do we get? Going to the 4th quarter where Trae Young has been cooking most of the game with 32 points. He rolls his ankle on the ref who's standing out of bounds. And then their offense just sputters out. And Chris Middleton, whenever he's on the floor, they attacked Trae Young as the matchup. They involved him in ball screens. They got them to switch. And that's when Chris Middleton went to work. Mouse in the house is what they call it.
Yeah, they realized that his agility and his ability to move around was limited based on the injury, which is smart play. You would have thought, right, Jay, that the Bucks would have attacked Brooklyn the same way with James Harden, but they, for whatever reason, they didn't do it. But they did this time around with Trae and saying, okay, he's not going to be able in the 4th quarter move around the way we need him to, and then you saw Chris Middleton go for 20 points. Is this, I don't want to say over, but does this give Milwaukee a clear advantage, Jay, of now going back and taking care of business and not having to worry about, the fear that Trae Young would put into you?
I mean, I've always thought Milwaukee had a clear advantage in this series, and Trae Young has been hot, right? But Milwaukee, complete top to bottom, is a better team. Bogdanovich is still hurt too. So how do you navigate that with this Hawks team? But my thing is, like, when the Bucks play their best basketball, like when they don't take possessions off or do sometimes dumb things on the floor, they're really, really good. This finals should be Bucks and Phoenix should be in the finals. Like, that should be our NBA finals. And look, the Hawks can make a turnaround. I'm not saying, but as far as the two teams that I think are the best two teams left, that would be the Bucks and the Phoenix Suns in the NBA finals.
Why are the two? Here's why I think the two teams that are left, or better yet, will be the two teams that will be potentially left, are Phoenix and Milwaukee, is because both of the bigs are playing phenomenal basketball. Giannis is doing what Giannis has always done, except he realized that he needs to play bully ball, much like Joel Embiid did when he was healthy, when they took on the Hawks. And now when you look at DeAndre Ayton, all of a sudden being a key factor in what has helped the Suns take a 3-1 lead, not just Chris Paul and Booker, but he's arrived to the party. Is this the reason, Jay, both of these teams are being in the finals?
If the Clippers had Kawhi, it might be a different story, man. And it leads me to one of these conversations, though, Key. And I think you have to beat who's in front of you to be a champion, regardless of whether there's injuries or not. But when you start looking at the roads that both teams have taken, if you look at the Phoenix Suns, okay, they beat the Lakers. Anthony Davis had issues, right? Like major issues. They didn't turn around. They beat Denver. Or no Jamal Murray, right? Issues. They get here, no Kawhi Leonard. Even though Paul George is playing out of his mind, there are issues, right? And same kind of with the Bucks when you start looking at their path. And, Miami dealt with all their COVID issues that they had this year. Even though they were kind of healthy when they got to that final point, they felt like they were a different team. Even in the next series, like there were issues. So it just, you have to be who's in front of you, but people will naturally try to use that argument to tear it down. But I'm not a part of that camp. I don't know how you guys feel. You can only play the teams in front of you.
Yeah, I don't care about that at all. Like you said, whoever's in front of you. I don't care if it's the entire team, half the team, or 4 people on the floor, whatever's there.
But you know how people are, Key.
Yeah, the Lakers won in the bubble. Okay, so what? They didn't win outside the bubble. Okay,
it's like, well, do the Bucks beat the Nets if KD and Kyrie are on the floor? Not even KD, Kyrie, and James. Like, people start throwing out those type of arguments.
Fact of the matter is, this is